I tell patients, you're either growing or you're dying. Which way do you want to go? You want to die for your next 80 years slowly, or you want to live for the next 80 years? Because you can either be proactive with your health in your life, or you can become very reactive with your health, waiting for a crisis, waiting for a problem to happen. That's never the best thing to do.
This is the Gold Medal Mindset, where we bring you all things winning in business, sport, and life. I'm Dr. Jason Richardson. Thanks for joining in. Get ready to mine for gold as we challenge your perception to change your results. Welcome back to the Gold Medal Mindset. Today, as you know, this is my catchphrase. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to have Dr. Josh Handt on the radio. Well, not on the radio, but on my Skype as I record this podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, this guy is Jedi. I mean, New York Chiropractic Life Center. I met him at a training with Dr. Ed Osborne and Karen Osborne in Victoria, Canada. We hit it off, and just getting to speak to him throughout the course of that weekend, I'm realizing I'm dealing with a big time player here. Just real quick, New York Times Magazine, featured in Big Apple Parent, Time Out New York, History Channel, HD, of course. So he's got an HD face. He's too pretty to be on just regular camera. Sirius XM, Hook Magazine. He is an avid athlete as well. He raced some downhill mountain bikes back in the day. He was a college NC2A skier, and now he's getting ready for a trail marathon. So he just all out championship life, winning in business, sport, and life. So I had to have him on. That's a long intro, Josh. Sorry, but I'm looking at your resume and it just keeps going and going. I left some stuff off. How are you doing, sir?
Man, that was fantastic, Dr. Jason. I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be live here with you.
Yeah, well, so I try to make an intro to where it's like when you hear it, you would hire yourself.
Well, I'm hired. I hire you.
You're hired. So you're in New York, and right now, as we record this, you're sitting in snow. How you doing over there?
Good. Yeah, we're about 2 feet on the ground already, which is unusual for this time of year, but doing good, man. I'm inside my home, nice and warm, talking to you, so it couldn't be better.
All right. So, as you know, Gold Medal Mindset, all things winning in business, life, and sport. I'm coming to you so that you can drop some gold nuggets onto the fans, onto the listeners. I'm going to go right in with chiropractic selfishly because, during my years as an athlete, I've been to a few of you guys, and chiropractic has been a big component to the longevity in my career. And from what I understand, it's a family business, so it's been around for how long?
Since 1978.
So 1978. So chiropractic to a lot of people is kind of I'm using air quotes here, a new thing. But 1978, so your family, your father's really was ahead of the curve. What can you just give people a basic rundown on chiropractic and maybe even the evolution since back in the day from when your father was practicing to now?
Okay, so I'll start with my father. My father's got a really cool story. He was approached with the idea of becoming either, I believe it was an optometrist or a chiropractor. He started to see my grandmother's chiropractor. He spoke to the chiropractor and said, I'm thinking about doing these two things. And the chiropractor called the school, spoke to the president of the school and said, listen, we got to get this kid into school. Before he becomes an optometrist, we need more good chiropractors. So long story short, he becomes a chiropractor, and his experience, and I know as a performance athlete like yourself, this is going to be very different. But my dad growing up as a child was, allergic to just about anything and everything. He'd look at a strawberry and break out in hives.
Oh my gosh.
Without even having to touch it. So under chiropractic care, he started to get better, didn't really understand why. And the only thing now he's allergic to this day is cats. So, my evolution going in. So his story was, from pain to doing good, or problem to doing good. Myself, I grew up in it. So my story, to not keep it too long for you, I grew up, I was unvaccinated, which is a big, crazy term to people. Brought up in what we call like an innate-based lifestyle, understanding that the body's really, they can do things. And I was the kid in school that, when kids were out sick, I go, well, isn't your dad a chiropractor? Can he just suggest you'll get better? And they would talk about taking medicines and so on and so forth. So fast forward, 2006, I'm getting ready to graduate undergraduate with a marketing degree. Something was missing in my life. I was an athlete, like you said. I was an alpine skier, and my first major was leisure resource management, if you can picture that.
So running a hotel in like Boca Raton.
No, running a hotel at a ski resort would have been my deal, right?
All right, yeah. That's
resort,
right. That's right. So Park City, yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So, I had to transfer to school with an injury, took business classes, getting ready to graduate, and something was missing in my life. And my dad going through school said, just take science classes. And I took a chemistry class when I was a skier. So suffering through chemistry in my first school, and when I transferred, ended up taking this anatomy and physiology class, which changed my perspective on life. I know that sounds weird. Anatomy and physiology is probably not most people's favorite subject. But when I got to see how the human body actually interacted with itself, which is the physiology, it blew my mind. And now I knew and understood what my father did in the past by helping people have a healthy nervous system, helped the whole body. And that's why his allergies got better. And I knew that now why I performed kind of like that little cutting edge alpine skier. I was able to cut milliseconds and seconds off of my time, the weeks that I were adjusted very regularly. So graduated chiropractic school years later. I've been practicing since 2006, and it's been an awesome journey being able to take care of people like yourself, professional athletes. I don't have any gold medal athletes yet.
Not yet.
But professional.
You will.
But you will. But professional athletes, all the way down to children and pregnant mothers. So that's my story.
I'm going to play like I haven't been that experienced in chiropractic. But I broke my leg in 2006. Mm-hmm. And so I was very grateful for the anesthesiologist and Western medicine and morphine. It was awesome, right? And
Yep.
And then I can ride again, I could race again, I could run with my kids. That said, a good portion of my recovery, it seemed like the physical therapy and I'm just calling it Western medicine, but the traditional medical model, while
yes.
it took me in, repaired me, got me, it built me back up, right? With minimal amounts of pain, although it was excruciating pain. But upon my recovery or my return back to racing, I wanted to speed things up. I wanted to get back on the track as fast as possible. And it was really interesting. So I started asking the physical therapist or the doctor about acupuncture, and I know it's not chiropractic, or about chiropractic, laser. So I flew a chiropractor down from Monterey who had traveled with us on to some races, and he did some laser therapy. I did acupuncture. I did massage. I mean, I did a lot of extra things, which I know and we can track, sped up my recovery. But it's so interesting that this, it seems like there's this kind of either or mentality amongst both professions, and I actually haven't really talked to you about that per se. But what's your take on all that? So,
broken leg, emergency medicine. I've when I raced downhill mountain bikes, I fractured my maxilla, which is your cheekbone. Mm-hmm. The first place I would run would not be the chiropractor, right?
Right.
You're gonna run to the hospital, right? Exactly the way you did. There's a time and a place for emergency, mm-hmm. but there's also a time and a place for repair. When we look at the structure, the central system sits inside the brain and the spinal cord. So if that is free from any kind of interference from abnormalities in posture, or actually these segments of the spine are misaligned, the nerves that are going to those areas, which could be like blood flow to the leg, may be diminished a little bit, and you're not going to heal as fast. So the recovery period in chiropractic, or just help with chiropractic, is to maximize that so your body can actually function, heal, and repair fast. Just think of it as kind of like you being a house, and if you have a fire, you better call the fire department. They need to bring their hoses and their axes to break down doors and do stuff. When they get that under control, you need to call the carpenters, the plumbers, the people that are going to come in and make the house pretty and livable again. You're not going to have the firemen come in and go, you know what? Your house is good. Let's start smashing stuff and spraying hoses all over the place again to try to fix it. It never works. So you can't really fix a structural problem, right? Like the spinal problem, if you will, with a chemical solution. Never works. Poison never really equals prevention.
Wow.
But it's good for emergencies, right?
That might be the title of this show. Poison doesn't equal prevention. I don't. So so one of my good friends, we do a seminar together, IPD seminars. His name's Dr. Clarence Lee. I suspect you'll probably meet him one day. And he said he's an MD. And he says what people don't, and his thing is people don't need a pill, they need a purpose. So, but he's one of he's one of the few MDs that I've come across that are open to kind of this more holistic approach, or just when it comes to nutrition, this, that, and the other. So what do you think is the fear? Because that's what I'm sensing as the psychologist guy. So I'm sensing a fear amongst the more traditional medical model about anything that's non-traditional, to Western medicine. So where do you think that's coming from? I mean, how does that, and how do you not just survive in it, you're thriving in it. I mean, you guys have been in business 40 plus, 40 years or whatever it is. So
yeah, almost. Yeah.
So, and I know there's a battle going on to some degree. I'm not trying to make it about a fight. I really want to make it about how, because you found a way to not only educate your patients, your clients, but you found a way to win in a pretty wild atmosphere.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a really great question. The battle, if you will, with the patient or the person that's searching for help, is we've been trained by billions of dollars a year of advertising telling us our body is not smart, that we need this pill to fix that we need this drug to fix that. And when those chemicals stop working, don't worry about it. We got a scalpel. We can cut whatever out we need to. Mm-hmm. And the model is more of a fear-based model that's been trained and put into the person. And if you want to think of it like, it's okay if I use the word philosophy here.
Yeah.
There's two different types of philosophies in healthcare. There's the mechanistic philosophy, which is, we'll say, very traditional medicine. But that says, we're equal to the sum of our parts, like a car. Mm-hmm. Like if you take out a spark plug and put a new spark plug in, that car will probably run the same way. The human body doesn't work like that. The human body is vitalistic, is alive. There's something inside of us that's bigger than a human. We take a corpse and then we take a living body, we lie them next to there. The parts are all the same. Mm-hmm. What's missing is life, right?
Wow.
So when you're brought up in this mechanistic model, you understand that we can play chemistry with the body to change things. We can cut things out when we don't need them because, you didn't need that appendix. It was put there for a reason, mm-hmm. right? Type of thing. I hear that from patients all the time. Well, I didn't need my appendix. I'm like, really? Who told you that?
Right.
But you know what? Our purpose, right? The purpose of the vitalistic philosophy is that we can maximize the human. If we connect the body neurologically and then teach it a lifestyle, right? A winner's lifestyle where they're doing things that are going to maximize their areas of healing, you win, and you make the body stronger, so you don't have to worry about cutting parts out or chemically living. Mm-hmm. And we've been taught this we're taught to take medicine from day one. Right. You have to go 9 months in a hospital.
Right.
A pregnant mother.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I'm a doctor of psychology. You're a doctor of chiropractic, and a medical doctor is a doctor of medicine. However, and I think, even me, right? My parents, especially my parents. I'm gonna have my dad on the podcast one day. I keep saying that. He's kind of learned to only rely on that. So like I think everyone can agree, medicine can be really great, right? Triage, mm-hmm. emergency, we get it, right? Like crisis happens. But I think we've been trained to go to the doctor for all of our ailments. Even in psychology, I mean, you have people going to the general practitioner saying, oh, I'm depressed, I'm anxious. And then the general practitioner saying, oh, well, here's Xanax, here's Abilify. And it's like, wait, like at least go to the psychiatrist, right? The doctor of medicine for psychiatry, right? Or talk to a therapist or get a coach, you know, like maybe you're not depressed, maybe it's situational. So it's kind of interesting how everyone is kind of somehow, some way, and I'm not calling it a conspiracy, but it just seems that we're all, going down that same funnel. But the truth is, even my friend who I talked about before, who's a medical doctor, he says, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. He goes, but when I say I'm a doctor, people just go, oh my gosh, wow, you're so smart. He's like, no, I know how to prescribe medicine for symptoms that present in my office. I don't know. I don't know if there's a question in there, but that I guess we're just having a conversation about it.
Yeah, no, the question is, like your father, my grandparents, the generations behind us, when medicine came to life, I don't know the exact year, and it wasn't really that long ago. No. Right? So when they were able to have, when you had the streets were running with, like gross stuff and diseases were very rampant, and you may have needed to have like a chemical to try to treat something. They kind of replaced the word doctor with God. So that generation, now the next generation goes, if the doctor said, listen, you have a cough, I'm going to have you take this pill, jump off this bridge, swim in ice cold water, and talk to me tomorrow. Let me know if it works. And the person would probably do that because the doctor had that kind of authority. Yeah. And now, I mean, I do see that, but I see the other side of the spectrum. Socially, people are starting to ask more questions, which is fantastic.
Yeah, there's more information out there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, questioning the authority, going, well, why do I have to take this? Or why do I have to take that? Is there a healthier way? Is there a more natural way? But that person is also being bombarded from every way, every type of media to do that mechanistic way. And that's just the way it is. It's our job, your job, right? As a coach, as a therapist, to help people break free from the chains that's held them in their past, generations past.
Yeah, I actually say I don't even do therapy. I do life. Like I just want to help. I want to help people through life.
I love it.
So let's move forward. Where this is, I have some insider information. We spent a weekend, at a training, which is about more of a business training. So where are you taking this, right? You almost have the torch. I don't feel like your dad's like out of the game just yet, but no. You're about to take the torch, right? And you'll take it when he's ready to give it to you. We're not trying to like push him out of the business. Where do you want to take this? And when I say this is like, your message, your chiropractic health, all of that.
Okay. You got it. So there's two pieces to this puzzle. One is our practice in New York City, and it's to bring and make this kind of an environment where we have other doctors like myself, my father, can come in and help the community. There's 8 million people on this little island called New York City, and very few, maybe 1,000 chiropractors. So there's no way all of us can take care of all these people. So spreading our message in chiropractic so we can bring other people in to share. That's the first message. The second message is, I'm in a building. My message, I think, and I believe, needs to be out to the world. And I've been working on a project which I spoke to you about called the Lifestyle Locker, which is an evolution right now. But it's a way, and I hate to use the word preach, but to share the thoughts, the philosophies of true health, and bringing in experts like yourself and other experts in other areas, from nutrition to fitness to sports to the mind and the body, so I can share with people all these really neat things. Because what I find with a lot of my patients that we take care of now, that once they find us, they're like, oh, this is really neat, the lifestyle is really cool, but then they start to go down rabbit holes like, oh, have you heard of this nutritionist, or you heard of this? And then they find them online and they dive in, and then they forget about everything else.
Right.
So my job now is to be a connector for people so people can connect with all these great experts and say, man, I love Dr. J. Rich. I want to learn more about him. But you may have heard a little snippet about him. And I want people to find people for the right reasons, not just because Facebook said so or Google said so. So that's my vision and my mission through the Lifestyle Lockers, to spread it outside the walls of my office.
Wow. So you're going to be like the health broker.
Well, I'd like to.
That's
I never thought of it
that's
that
so
way,
New
but...
York of you, by the way. That's so New York. Hey, I got a guy. You need help? I got a guy.
Hey,
yes. Mindset. Yeah, I got a guy for that.
Yeah. Well, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I want to be that connector, that broker for people, all things natural in a good way, because humanity needs us, right? They do.
Cool. I like it, and we happen to be human, so that helps.
It works.
That helps. All right, so this is the point where I get a little personal. So I always ask guests. Excuse me. I always ask people on my show. There we go. I always ask people on my show a few questions. Your biggest win, your biggest loss. What's one thing you wish everybody knew? But I haven't asked this one in a while, so I'm going to start with this one. What is winning to you? Define winning.
Define winning. That's a pretty solid question. And
talking to a psychologist, I read a lot of books, seconds. Man.
I know. Well, I'm sure you have. I have no doubt in my mind after talking to you. Winning. I guess if you take a look at life for yourself and for me, winning comes in, I guess, a lot of different areas. And one for me could be having a healthy relationship with your spouse, with friends and family. That's always a win. Financially is a big part of it as well. Maybe not the biggest part, but it's important because this is how we get to support the things we love, we like, our families, and ourselves. So having healthy financial arrangements with, making sure you're paying your mortgage or whatever it may be, saving money, giving money away. Mm-hmm. Then there's winning is having a purpose for me.
Nice.
Knowing where you're going, knowing what you want to do. You may not have that exact roadmap, but if you can actually fine tune and start to visualize and actualize and take action on your purpose, life becomes a win, because your purpose should kind of include, the family, the money, the business, the friends, the sport, all of these things. It should kind of encompass that. So I would say winning is having a good defined purpose and taking action on it. Otherwise, you're just dreaming.
That's beautiful, and that's the purpose of this show. And I what I like about just the general conversation that I'm seeing, and I'm biased, is that I think there's a lot of people looking for that. I think there's a lot of people sitting in the cubicle or maybe on the field, whatever it is they're doing, kind of going, how did I get here? And asking themselves, what am I doing? Like, what is this? Is this it? I've always kind of had this philosophical conversation with my wife about, we have kids, 8 and 12, both boys, and it's like, wow, we people work hard, which is a great value. People work hard to maybe afford a house and things, and then you have a family, and then you go away from those people, right? And this thing that you're paying for, you go away from it to work, and then you come back for a few hours in the evening, and then you go away, and then the kids go off to school, and then we kind of like bring those kids up and train them to do the same thing. It's like, something to me about that is lacking. Like, I love that when my kids come home from school, like, the fact that I can pick them up, or the fact that that I'm kind of home longer than they are sometimes because I can work from anywhere, or actually do what I do I can serve from anywhere. But I feel like when you touched on the purpose and kind of like hitting all those things, the money, the family, the friends, the activity, the lifestyle of it, I think a lot of us, and I see it, that's unfortunately the bulk of my business, are these people who are coming to me because it's like, Yeah, I'm retired. I'm 40. I'm bored. I don't have, I used to, but I used to be in shape, I'm stuck at this job and I make, an obscene amount, but it sucks and I'm not happy. Oh, and my wife served me divorce papers. I didn't see that coming. That's not purposeful, right? That's not purposeful.
No.
So I like that I'm hearing chiropractors speak this language. I like that I'm hearing psychologists speak this language, coaches, trainers, and it's so funny that, and I'll say it, I always beat this. This is kind of like my soapbox moment of the show, but I always beat this down. It's like anyone who's doing anything in any space or domain who's really winning is speaking the same language.
Yeah.
They really are. And then you could take that from business to medicine to chiropractic to psychology. They're all speaking the same language. So
Yes.
So people listening, find someone who's speaking that language and work with them. The next question, sir. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's
What
roll.
do you want to take? Biggest win or biggest loss? You're going to get both, but what do we want to hit first? What's your biggest win? What's your biggest loss?
I'm just going to take them in order you're giving them right there.
Okay.
Biggest win. It's a big question, but I believe my biggest win, and I'm just going to bring it right back to what we said, is me actually finding my purpose, which took a lot of years of my life, and taking action steps on it. And I feel, when I went from that transition from a skier, a racing skier, to a student that just was trying to get through school, to finding that science class when that teacher that kind of sparked something in me. Knowing exactly what I wanted to do, then finding my course, that was my win. And the second biggest win is now this transition to not losing practice, keeping practice, but going, holy cow, I can get this message to a lot more people than just the people that are walking in my doors. Right. So that's my biggest two wins right there, like back to back, and they're the same thing, which are both purpose driven. And I'm just psyched because this is going to be something big.
Cool. Real quick, just hit me. Is your kitchen almost finished? I know you're remodeling your kitchen.
It's been a nightmare, and I'm trying to kind of walk away. We're almost there. We're like steps.
So
snowstorm slowed deliveries down.
That's working to be your biggest loss right now. But so biggest loss.
Biggest loss.
You may not have one.
That's a difficult question, and if I look back on my life, and I'm very grateful for way too much or for a lot, because I'm grateful for my the way I grew up, my relationship with my family, my parents, my friends. I've had really good things. My biggest loss, and I don't even think it's a loss, I think it was kind of like a speed bump, was me taking all of the time, and which may have been necessary, to figure out that I wanted to go to chiropractic school. Okay. Kind of bumping around and just I guess being a student. You go, man, I could be a student forever. This is easy, type of thing. And then I think that may have been a loss, but I don't know if that was a loss or a speed bump.
Yeah, I'll just throw in a bit of free advice, which is whatever time that took or it took, and whether you appreciate it or you regret it, make that time worth something. That's my word of advice for that.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'll take
it. It's free. So, last question. What's one thing you wish every human knew?
I wish every human knew.
Yeah, it's you, right? It's Josh on the planet. You get to speak to every human being in the world, past, present, and future. What is one thing you wish they knew on a cellular level?
Wow. Okay. This is a big one.
We go big. Why play small, right?
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I wish every human would know that they have this hidden potential inside them, that it can be expressed, and it doesn't need to be from an outside-in experience. We're all built with this amazing power inside, and if you do things in your life and lifestyle that are proactive, you have a very big chance to win in life, in health, and everything.
Nice.
You don't, but that's it.
So now I don't have. That's not my last question because now I have more questions because you said that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, tips. What can people do? What are like quick? I'm not gonna say quick. What are good things that people can do who might be physically, and so we'll keep it to your core competency, physically stagnant, may wake up with a tight back, or sit at a desk for a long time, or maybe they're athletes and they train a certain way all the time because their sport demands it. What are kind of your oh gosh, I'm going to use a
recommendations.
Yes, your recommendations. Thank you, because I was going to say hacks, and I'm just like, I can't stand that word. What would be your recommendations to?
Well, so my wheelhouse, right? So we said athletes, we'll say the corporate warrior sitting at a desk all day.
Yeah.
One of the simple things that my father coined, and I've been using it since I've been in practice, is if you're a corporate person, right? You're sitting for a living.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get off your rear end every 20 minutes. I don't care what you're doing. You can stand up and do a lap around your chair, but posture and aging go hand in hand with poor posture. And if you keep adapting that sitting position, I know all of you listening, and I know you yourself, Dr. J, we've all been here. We sit down for a little bit. We're working in front of our computer. We start to look like a C or like a clamshell, right? Like
you literally morph into whatever it is you do.
Yeah. So we're losing a lot of those stability muscles, the strength of them, as we age. So something simple that someone can do is just get up and move, even if it's for that 30 seconds or 20 seconds. You don't have to have a break, for an hour to do this. You can take every 20 minutes. You get your 30-second break, do a lap. That's one thing I tell all my corporate athletes. What I tell the other athletes, the semi-professional athletes, the student athletes, is as far as mobility and movement, you need to take time to rest. You need to take time to push really hard. You need to take time now, as I learn as an athlete as well, even more as an adult athlete, right, is to mobilize and learn to stretch and move your body that way, not just stand up and walk around a chair. But you need to work on your soft tissue. You need to pay attention to your structure and your posture. But rest becomes a huge thing. I take care of a lot of young people. New York City is a lot of type A people, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. And they go, and they wonder why it takes them so long to get well, because they don't let their mind shut off, which doesn't allow their body to shut off. We put our body in a crazy stress response inside and out. So simple things are move. Get off your
rear end and rest. For the type A's, give your amygdala a break.
Yeah, I tell people to meditate. Meditate for like 7 minutes. Can you do 7 minutes? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
something simple.
It's funny. We do a long meditation with my athletes and actually corporate clients now, and then we build mini meditations in, which are like 3 minutes, and then the people who are really good at it, they can get into that zone or get into that space. I'll say not that zone, but get into that space within like a countdown of like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom, they're there. It's interesting. I worked with a trainer. He's a Czech professional, so that's certified holistic exercise kinesiologist.
Wow.
That's a lot of stuff.
Very cool.
Anyways, but they're very big on function and what is it called? Like movements. What is it called? Functional fitness, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, functional movement.
So primal movement, stuff like that, and breathing is a big thing. But they have this concept, or he had this concept called recycling strength.
Okay.
Which
I've never heard it, but
I know. But that's what was coming to me when you were talking about aging and the athletes, like taking that time so that your body can heal, but also kind of find a way to build or rebuild.
Yes. Yeah. I tell patients, you're either growing or you're dying. Which way do you want to go? Longer. You want to die for your next 80 years slowly, or you want to live for the next 80 years?
Right.
Because you can either be proactive with your health in your life, or you can become very reactive with your health, waiting for a crisis, waiting for a problem to happen. That's never the best thing to do. As a professional athlete like you were, if you said, I'm going to train tomorrow, and tomorrow never really happens, and you show up for a race, you're not that gold medal athlete anymore. You need to put the work in your life, and it doesn't need to be this huge, crazy, scary thing. Baby steps, like in the movie What About Bob? Little baby steps in your health.
Yes.
Right. Right? Make the biggest difference. And people think when they commit to doing something, it's like, oh, that's so much work. Well, what else are you doing? I got this TV show I got to watch. And I'm like, well, it's your priorities. You can do what you want. We're here to be your support team, right? So,
yeah.
From nutrition to your mind to movement. It's important.
It's interesting because in my early athletic career, there was a lot of deposits I needed to make in the bank, which was like getting after it, like building that base. And then I noted, and so I created a habit of training hard. And that's what was required. And then as I aged and became like the oldest dude out there, my work was resting. It was but it took me like a year and a half to figure out why I'm not like all my numbers as far as like gym and speed and my, whatever, my vertical, like all those were up, but I'd be at the race and just be like, at 80% or just kind of be tired, or what the word we used was flat. And my trainer's like, I'm going to call your wife because I know you have kids, but you have to schedule in a nap. Like you just have to.
Yeah.
Like there's just nothing else to it. And then sure enough, like those times where I got and I was hard-headed, even like straight up, I'll just be fully transparent. I was hard-headed, and I was so ingrained in like, oh, I gotta keep, maybe I'll do sprints anyway. I'm not just, whatever. I just kind of felt like I had to be doing something. It's like, no, what I had to be doing was resting. But when I got that rest, it was like I was on point. And, managing expectations, all that other stuff, blah, blah, blah. But it's interesting how once you have a foundation, so the moral of the story is once you have a foundation of anything, right? Fitness, health,
yes.
Learning how to learn whatever, smarts, it's much easier to keep the pencil sharp.
Yes.
Right. But me going
100%.
back in the gym and driving myself the way I did at 20 or 22, and I'm now 34 and I have that base. It's like, no, man, just, keep the pencil sharp. Like that's the gift, right? It's time, right? So I've made a lot of deposits. It's time to start collecting on those deposits, collecting the interest. So
yeah. No, that's true. And like you said, every aspect of life. It's easier I like that. It's easier to keep the pencil sharp than have to restart over again.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Same language, man. Like I said, same language. There's themes. There's themes on this show.
Yeah.
All right, Josh. So how can people find you? Where can they find you? And what should they expect when they do?
How can people find me? The easiest way to find me if you're in Manhattan, walk to my office. I'm on Central Park West. I'll give you the web address. It's NewYorkChiropractic.com. We've owned that forever.
You must have you.
Yeah.
That's like I'm the first chiropractor in New York. Thank you very much.
So that's the easiest way to find us. Our website's got all of our contact information, our phone number, email. Everything is very easy to get there. Our website, the Lifestyle Locker, will be live hopefully within the next few weeks, maybe a little bit longer. But
and there's a podcast associated with it too, correct? There will be,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, there is a podcast, and will be a podcast associated with it, feeding a lot of the information. What you can expect when you find me is just like you said. I'm a very transparent person. There's zero BS in my book when I work with people with their life. Our office is called the New York Chiropractic Life Center, not Health Center.
Nice.
Because when you're part of our practice, you become family because we treat you as we would treat my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. So you can expect nothing but honesty and good and results. Really, we track our results. So if you're coming in for the chiropractic world, you're going to do well. If you're coming to find us for other reasons, you probably can do well as well.
Nice. Well, definitely when I'm in the city or thereabouts, I'll look you up. And,
man.
And
totally.
I'm actually going to Philly in September, so I'm doing a speaking thing, so we have to get you in there and maybe be a guest guest
Okay. Wow,
talker guy.
That may be cool.
Yeah.
You got to shoot me some dates. We'll chat after.
Okay, cool. We'll do it in the green room.
Yes.
All right, man. Well, with that said, I do appreciate you, Dr. Josh, for being on the show, and more importantly, for getting to know you. So I'm looking forward to maybe getting on that. I'm inviting myself on your podcast. Getting on that.
You're on, man.
Locker podcast.
You're on, man.
So
How could I turn down a gold medal athlete and takes care of people and doing things that make them win throughout life? How would I not have you?
All right. And he's a charmer, folks. He's a charmer. All right. With that said, thanks for being on the Gold Medal Mindset. Until next time. Thanks for taking the time to mine for gold on the Gold Medal Mindset podcast. Let's keep the conversation going on Twitter at RealDrJRich or on the web at drjasonrichardson.com. That's drjasonrichardson.com. Take care and have a great day. Gold Medal Mindset is brought to you courtesy of IPD Seminars, motivating the motivated with a 6-hour intensive training from leaders in business, sport, and life. Make an impact, live with purpose, and fulfill your destiny. Learn the mindset and best practices to crush any limit. Visit ipdseminars.com for more information. We also like to thank Life Advantages Prep, making school not suck for high school kids already immersed in sport, tech, the arts, or whatever their passion may be. For more information on winning at LAP, please visit lifeadvantagesprep.com.